At 92 years old, Willie Nelson has lived through enough decades, sessions, stages, and smoky backrooms to have played with just about every guitarist worth mentioning in country, blues, and rock. And while Willie is famous for being calm, gentle, and impossibly easygoing, even he admits there were a few guitarists over the years he simply could not stand. Not because they lacked talent, but because their attitudes, egos, or habits clashed so brutally with his own quiet, disciplined way of making music that he never forgot the frustration. And when Willie finally opened up about these 7 players, he didn't do it with anger or bitterness, but with the tired honesty of a man who has lived long enough to stop sugarcoating anything. 1. The Volume Monster. The first guitarist Willie Nelson admitted he could never stand was a man whose talent was undeniable, but whose volume was legendary for all the wrong reasons. Willie recalled countless nights on stage when this player would plug in, crank his amp so loud the rafters shook, and completely bulldoze the rest of the band. Willie said it didn't matter what song they played, soft ballad, slow blues, gentle waltz, the guitarist would blast through it like he was headlining a stadium alone. Willie hated that he never listened, never watched the band leader's cues, never understood that music breathes. Instead, he chased attention, drowning out harmonies, ignoring dynamics, and turning songs into noise. Willie said it wasn't the loudness he hated, it was the disrespect behind it. 2. The Drunk Genius. The second guitarist was a man Willie called brilliant but broken. Someone with enough natural talent to become a legend, but too much self-destruction to ever get there. Willie remembered studio sessions ruined because the guitarist stumbled in late, reeking of whiskey, insisting he could play, only to slur his way through the notes and force the band to start over again and again. Willie never hated his playing. When he was sober, he could perform magic. But Willie hated the chaos that followed him, the unpredictability, the ruined takes, the constant tension, the way his addiction overshadowed his gift. Willie said he hated watching someone with a golden touch waste it so carelessly. 3. The hotshot show-off. The third guitarist on Willie's list was a flashy young player who thought fast fingers were more important than feel. Willie remembered this kid walking into the studio full of swagger, bragging about how many notes he could squeeze into a measure, acting like he was doing the band a favor by showing up. But the moment they began recording, the hotshot shredded over everything, over the vocals, over the rhythm, over the story of the song, completely missing the point of country music. Willie said he hated guitarists who used music as a competition instead of a conversation, and this one topped the list. He played like he was fighting ghosts, Willie said, and losing. 4. The control freak. The fourth guitarist was someone who demanded every song be played exactly his way, even when he wasn't the band leader. Willie recalled rehearsals where this guitarist argued about every chord change, every tempo, every phrase, telling Willie Nelson, how the song should be played. To Willie, that crossed a line. Music, in his world, wasn't about strict rules. It was about feeling, flow, and instinct. But this guitarist brought spreadsheets, charts, and rigid expectations into every session, smothering the natural groove. Willie said he didn't hate the man, but he absolutely hated his need to control everything. 5. The Unprepared Wanderer. The fifth guitarist was someone Willie remembered not for ego, but for laziness. While the rest of the band arrived prepared, rehearsed, and ready to work, this guitar player would show up not knowing the songs, the key, the chords, or even the set list. Willie said every rehearsal turned into a lesson, every show into a gamble, because this guitarist simply refused to learn his parts. And nothing irritated Willie more than musicians who wasted time Willie valued more than money. Willie said he didn't hate his playing, but he hated his attitude. If you don't respect the music, you don't respect the people making it. 6. The Stage Upstager. The sixth guitarist on Willie's list was someone who treated the stage like his personal spotlight. Willie recalled shows where this guitarist charged forward during every solo, blocking bandmates, raising his guitar in the air for applause, and turning quiet songs into theatrical stunts. What Willie hated wasn't the confidence. It was the shameless need to upstage everyone else, including the singer. Instead of being part of the band, he acted like he was the band. Willie said he hated musicians who forgot that music is teamwork, not a one-man parade. 7. The soulless technician. The seventh guitarist was the one Willie disliked most, not because he was rude, loud, or unreliable, but because he played without heart. Willie said this guitarist had flawless technique, perfect timing, and textbook precision, yet somehow produced music that felt empty, cold, and emotionless. He could play every note right, but never made a single note mean anything. Willie believed music needed soul, humanity, vulnerability, the little imperfections that reveal who you are inside, but this guitarist delivered nothing but sterile perfection. He played notes, Willie said, but he never played feelings. And for Willie Nelson, that was the one thing he could never stand.